No. So she's a professional at the Little River Chamber of Commerce in South Carolina. In her spare time, she's also a contractor for Ready to Go, where she crafts Facebook posts on behalf of other companies, from granite supply to debt relief. So, Izzy, you can take it away.
Awesome. Well, welcome and thank you for coming. Like he said, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, especially if I tend to move too fast or talk too fast. It happens when I get excited. But I'm actually really into social media, so I'm glad y'all could all join me today. I do know that the first pressing question you're probably going to have is that with the Facebook algorithm changes, is it even worth your time? So if you manage your your page, then you know that your numbers have probably really dropped over the past month. And that's after they dropped last year because Facebook's been making all of these changes. The important thing to realize though with this is Facebook's doing this so they can provide a better customer experience, just like you would in your business or organization. So they're trying to make sure that they're only seeing posts that are good or relevant or things they will naturally engage with. So you're not going to try and beat the algorithm, you're actually going to work with it. And we're going to talk about some ways to do it, but including the big picture, I want to save it. I've got a good slide for it. So to answer this question, is Facebook still worth your time? Yes, if that's where your audience is. So if all of your customers are on Facebook, then yes, it is still relevant for you. And then showing up consistently on Facebook or whatever your preferred social media platform is important because as a millennial, if I go to your Facebook page and you haven't posted in like a month or two, I think your business is closed down, like for real. And no, I will not call you. I will never call you to see if you're open or to figure out what your menu is. So you have to have stuff online for people like me. And then, but if you don't like Facebook or if your audience is not on Facebook, what platform should you be on? Well, the first thing, like I already said, where your audience is. If your audience is on LinkedIn, then spend time on LinkedIn. But another tip people don't really kind of appreciate is that what platform do you have the patience or energy for? If you just hate Facebook, just for no reason at all, then you probably don't want to spend your time on there, and that's okay. If you really like Instagram or Twitter or something else, then spend time on the platform you have the energy for. There's a number of ways you can actually automate to go from the platform you like to the other platforms, so you can still kind of have an active presence, but spend most of your time on the one you at least moderately enjoy. And then another one that people don't think about is Google My Business. Google My Business, hopefully the chamber has told you to, claim your listing on Google My Business, but you can also post on there as well. So that's just a random tip. And then I shouldn't have to say this, but like step one for all of this is to actually go fully fill out and update your profile. I've I've tried to look up information for a lot of businesses. Again, I work for another chamber, so I'm also trying to look up information for my businesses so I can share them. And a lot of times people don't have all this stuff updated, and that's really hard for me to learn about your business if you don't. So just take the time to go through all of the about me, all of the settings, check them all out, update them with what you have. You don't have to spend an obscene amount of time. You could probably do this in 20 minutes and just make sure you've got like your basic info out there. And then if you can, I'm not going to even say that. You should also check it once a year. Now, the once a year you can offload to like a staff or somebody else, but just to make sure things have updated. It's a lot of times you don't realize that you might have changed your email address or like a little part of your about me, or you might have added a new service. So just make it a note to check all of your about me sections on all of your platforms just once a year. Okay, how many people are upset about me right now? Because I'm going to tell you that your goal is not to go viral. If anybody is telling you to go viral, like just no. Like as a marketer, if you come to me and throw money at me and say, hey, just make it go viral, I'm going to laugh as soon as you walk out of that door because there's no way nobody can guarantee that. But I will tell you what to do instead, so don't worry. So our goal is not to go viral, it's to focus on customer service. So don't think of it as marketing, think of it as an extension of customer service. So for the 5 people whose videos I can see, show me jazz hands if you think sales would be easier if you had better informed customers. Okay, all right, I appreciate that. So think about the questions you're always helping customers with and things that you wish they knew. If you share these answers to those, if you share the answer to those FAQs on your social media, then you're helping multiple current and potential customers at the same time. And I'm purposely pausing here. I want you to really take this in. Social media is an extension of customer service. So how can you help your customers and what FAQs can you answer on social media? All right, and I like quotes. So here's another quote. So this is by Mike Kim. Tell stories, use clear copy, and build rapport. Marketing isn't about closing a sale, it's about opening a relationship. And that's part of the reason social media is so hard for all of us because we want to throw in ads and just be like, hey, buy things. This is what we do. Hey, support us. Da, da, da. Think about whoever's reading that social media post. You're building a relationship with them. And if you don't know who it is, just think of like your ideal customer or your favorite customer. Every time you write a social media post, pretend that you're sending it to them personally. All right, here's some, so that those are like my big picture things. Like if you can just focus on those big picture things, you will naturally become better at social media. But I'm sure you want some more tangible technical things. So we're going to do some do's and don'ts. So you will get the PDF of these slides afterwards. I've provided those to the chamber. Otherwise, you can screenshot this slide and send it to whoever does your social media. But I am going to go through it real quick. So do post regularly, daily if you can, at the very least once a week, because like I said, people like me think you're closed if you don't post at least once a week. But best practice is daily. Actively grow your followers. So again, with the Facebook algorithm change, you've seen that your reach has gone down a lot. And it's no longer showing your post to friends of somebody that liked your post. So if you want more people to see your post, you want more Facebook followers. And the best way to do that is to invite them. So you can invite people that liked your post to like your page. You can put it in your emails, especially like a welcome email. You can just put it at the bottom and just say, hey, will you also just follow us on Facebook? Hey, will you also do this? Come meet us here. So make sure you're encouraging people off of Facebook to like you on Facebook or whatever your main platform is. Sorry, I gotta take deep breaths. I don't usually talk this much. And then also post some engaging or helpful things, not just ad. I'm trying not to clap loudly, but like I really just want to be like, not just ads. There's a rule out there with marketers called the 80-20 rule. And 80% of your social media posts should not be adsy. And I will give you specific examples of things you can do that are not just ads, so don't worry. But again, 80% of your posts should not be ads. With that, you can also post a variety of content for people in all stages of your funnel. So a marketing funnel, generally speaking, don't worry, we're not going to get super technical. At the very top is awareness, getting people just to know that you exist. And at the bottom of the funnel is when you're converting sales. So you want to keep in mind, you don't know who's looking at your post when, so you are going to put a variety of things. You're going to put some top of funnel things, just introducing your business to the world. Even though you've probably been in business for many years, you're still new to somebody. So keep that in mind and put a few things out there that says, hey, if you haven't met us, this is what we do. And then, yeah, you're also going to put some of those ads. I know we want to, it's fine. And then another just good tip for any social media platform, anything at all, is reply to comments and reviews. If somebody called your business up and said, hey, I have a problem, you wouldn't just hang up on them and ignore them, would you? No. So we're also going to do that on social media. If somebody comments, just respond to it, even if it's a nice thing. And all you have to do is say, hey, thanks for sharing and like it. And don't delete negative reviews. This is a great time for you to actually showcase your customer service to the world because you don't know who's reading those reviews later. They're also they're also reading how you're responding to that. So they want to see that you're responding and trying to make things right. The only exception is if it's like obviously inappropriate or rude. Those you can delete, but like most of the time, you just respond to them. And then of course, try new things. Try new things. That's what social media and technology and anything else is going to be. Do use your cell phone. If you don't have an expensive camera like this thing, that's okay. Get out your cell phone, take pictures, take videos, just roll with it. It's fine. And then cross promote other channels and opt-ins. What this means is your other channel would be if you have a Facebook page and a Twitter page. On Facebook, you're going to say, hey, please follow us on Twitter. And on Twitter, you're going to say, hey, please follow us on Facebook. Now, you're not going to do that all the time, but do it some of the time so you can grow all of your platforms. This is a really good strategy long term because you want to continually grow all of your followers everywhere. And then opt-ins would be for email. If you have like a lead magnet or something that you're doing to get people to subscribe to your emails, you're also going to promote that. And then use real photos. Stock photos are okay. I have a few sites that I'll share with you where you can get some free stock photos. Those are okay if you're starting out or you really don't have anything. But anytime you can whip out your cell phone and take a real photo of you, your business, your customers, whatever it is, those will always perform so much better. And then remember you're talking to real live people. I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but think of like your favorite customer or just have a person in have a person in mind and think of them as you're writing your Facebook post or your social media post. And then my last do is see what kinds of things your competitors are sharing. No, we're not going to steal everything, but it never hurts to see what other people are doing. See what kinds of things they're talking about. So they might be better educating their customers than you are. So then you could say, oh, I should share those kinds of advice and tips with my customers. Or you might just really like an ad layout that they have, and that's fine too. But see what they're doing and see what good practices you can implement. All right, here's a don't. So, grain of salt. When I say engagement bait, I actually like engagement bait, and there's a variety of words that people call this, but for me, engagement bait is when I post something on social media purposely because I want people to engage with it so it increases my numbers. So this is an example of how you don't want to do that. You don't want to ask people to vote with specific reactions, which is what this picture is an example of. And you basically, Facebook wants people to engage with your post. They just don't want you to tell them how to do it, kind of like your ex. So you can't tell them how to engage with it. You can ask them to yes, comment, yes, react or whatever, but don't say, hey, use this reaction if XYZ or use this reaction if Y. And then asking to share a post to enter a contest actually goes against Facebook terms of service. So that's great as all. Anytime you put out a contest, make sure you double check the rules. And don't say tag a friend who should buy you this or tag a friend who XYZ. Yes, if you can tag a friend that's actually in the photo, but again, Facebook doesn't want your post to be too spammy. There we go. All right, and here's a good example of engagement bait. So this was more of an open-ended question. So Facebook likes open-ended questions because people are going to comment, but they're going to do it naturally in a way that they want to. So asking for authentic likes and shares is okay. Asking people to actually, or that tag people that are actually in the photo is okay. And then asking for these genuine comments is okay. And here's another general tip. Usually a video will perform better than a photo, and usually a photo will perform better than text. Of course, there's always exceptions, but anytime you can add better media, that will naturally increase most of your stats. All right, and as I promised, here's some non-salesy post ideas. So the first one that you've probably heard of is customer spotlights or testimonials. A lot of times I will take the reviews they've put either in Facebook reviews or in a comment or on your Google listing, and I will copy and paste those and I'll put them into a Canva template so that I can use my brand colors, but I use their words. And then another one is mission or goals. So think like corporate mission and goals. So it might be reducing emissions, being invaluable to your community. If American jobs is really important to your business, these are amazing things to share with us because we don't want to just hear about the product that you make. We want to know that you're such an amazing organization and you give back somehow like this. So sharing these random things that you do is actually really good. Another one is a staff spotlight, whether it's your employee of the month or just, hey, meet Bob. He's new, he's great, here's what he do. How stuff works. Your day-to-day is probably boring to you, but for me, I've never been there. I don't know what any of that stuff is, and that's really exciting for me. So if you have equipment or a machine, show me how that works. That's so cool. Take out your cell phone, take a video, and talk me through what it is. Even if you think you're less boring because you're in an office. Like if you work at a bank, well then, take a quick video of you explaining to me some those basic tips and advice that when people are coming in to bring in an application, what are you telling them? What are those first basic things that they should know? Share those with me because that's a way that you're providing value. Yes, people will learn about your organization because you're putting it out there in that way, but people are so much more engaged with that kind of content. And then tips that are relevant to your product or industry. Again, this is an example on the right-hand side. They install countertops. And so this was a post that I created and it's not the most beautiful thing I've made, but people liked it because it was helpful, because it was sharing how people could care for their granite countertops. So it's still relevant for their customer, relevant to their business, but it's a way for them to provide value outside of trying to sell them something. And then my last random thing that I like is actually odd holidays. Again, using original photos. So like the one we all know is like bring your dog to work day. Take a picture of an employee that brought their dog to work that day and just share it on social media. That's just such a cute post. Everybody's gonna like it because everybody likes dogs. And if you don't talk to me. Um, sorry. Um, but just finding little cute ways to say hey to show that hey we're here, we're real people, we have a personality, and you can look up odd holidays and plan ahead for them, but again using real photos of you and your staff. All right, so I know this is another question everybody's going to have, and that's what's the best Facebook feature to spend time on, and the short answer is going to be whichever's newest. Because you remember when Facebook Live was huge and then now it's stories, but Facebook's going to push whichever their newest feature is. So give your staff or yourself the flexibility to experiment with whatever the new feature is, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or a new social media platform that doesn't even exist is, whatever it is, test out the new stuff because you're going to get better engagement because the platform is going to prioritize that type of content right now. And if you're into YouTube right now, they're doing shorts. So fun fact. Another social media question I get is about hashtags. My bigger takeaway is that I would like you to use a mix of branded and generic but relevant hashtags. So here's an example on the right-hand side. We used hashtag Swift Creek Homes, which is the name of their company. So that would be the branded one. For me, another branded one is Little River SC because that is our community. So very important to me, very relevant. And then a generic one is actually hashtag Myrtle Beach or hashtag Myrtle Beach Real Estate, hashtag Custom Built Home. So those are generic because they're not just my business. I'm not the only one using it, but it's still very relevant. And then if you are optimizing for multiple platforms, this is actually what I believe is the recommended number of hashtags. So usually Facebook and Twitter is about 2. It's okay if you go over. As you can see, I tend to use 4. But if you use too many, you'll start to look spammy, so don't go crazy. And then with YouTube, you can actually put 3 hashtags in the description, and it'll actually put it above the description, and it highlights it. It's interesting. Instagram is 5 to 10, LinkedIn 3 to 5, Pinterest just less than 20. Again, those are like recommendations, not like the maximum you can do. And then, as I said, take out your phone, take pictures, take video. So we have a staff of 2 at my chamber right now. And so I am the entire marketing department. We don't have a receptionist. So I'm also taking phone calls and doing a million other things, just like your friends at Sandusky Chamber of Commerce. So I need to be able to do what I need to do by myself. And this is one of those things. So at the very minimum, if you want to take a video, you probably want to stabilize your phone. So this is the equipment that I have. It's a real picture. That's my stuff. And it's very affordable. At the very least, you probably want a tripod. This was $20 on Amazon, and a cell phone tripod adapter mount. Again, I've typed out all these words, so these are the exact phrases you can search on Amazon if you want to buy this. So at the very least, you need the smartphone attachment at the top and you need the tripod. If you would like to get into lighting, that light was also about $20 and you just need that extra attachment so you can attach multiple things onto your tripod. But at the very least, smartphone attachment and you're good to go. You can easily get it for like $30. All right, while I'm still talking about video, this could be like a whole other hour presentation. So this is gonna be a lot of stuff squished together. But orientation, for a lot of people, they're saying vertical videos, especially if you're B2C. Sometimes if you're B2B, horizontal might be better. It just kind of depends on what you're creating. So if I'm creating something that is a tutorial and I know they're going to be sitting at a computer, then horizontal is probably best. But if I know they're going to look at it on their cell phone, then doing it vertical. If you're trying to use the same video in a bunch of different places, sometimes the shortcut is just to create a square video, because then at least you know it'll look about the same everywhere. And then one of my favorite quotes is, done is better than perfect. So whatever the easiest way for you to make the video is the correct way. Add captions in Facebook. This is a screenshot of me uploading a video in Facebook. There is a button. It's one click. It says auto generate captions. Hit that. 90% of the words are correct. Every once in a while, I'll get a call and somebody says, hey, this part's obviously wrong. And I go, oh, thanks. And then I go fix it. But that is a huge time saver and is such a benefit, not only for people that don't hear well, but a lot of people now, when we're scrolling, we're not stopping to listen to your video. We're watching the words on the screen to see if we're even interested in it. So having captions, just period, have captions. Create a thumbnail, probably you'll have to go Google that, but basically you're gonna create an image that goes over the video before people hit play. That's what a thumbnail is. And your goal with that is to get people to stop scrolling and to be distracted by your post and to click play. Write a description. I don't know why some people don't write descriptions when they post videos, but again, you want people to actually watch the video, so you have to tell them why they would want to do so. And then optimize your title or your headline. Again, that's probably something you want to Google so you can go get good at it. And I know I'm being repetitive, but your goal for your headline is also to get people to stop and watch your video. So all those three things are helping people to stop and watch your video. You're selling them on watching your video. Do I sound like a tape recorder yet? What is it? I don't have time for that. I know, neither do I. I just said I have 2 staff people. So we're going to go over a few time-saving tips, and I also will remind you, done is better than perfect. Okay, so my first thing is to have a content calendar. I don't know if you can see my tiny screen, but I literally have a printout that is color coordinated, and these are just like little bullet points that just say client testimonial. Like that's what my content calendar is. It doesn't mean I have everything ready in advance, but it helps me schedule things ahead of time, because you should not be logging into Facebook every day because you have other things to do. So when you do that, you can schedule everything ahead of time and check it off and work on the things that are actually important in your day-to-day. So with that, have a content calendar, plan out your strategy, and curate content ahead of time. You can update it regularly with events or campaigns or holidays. And what I mean by that is if you have like a general calendar that you say, okay, we're going to post testimonials this day, quotes on this day, FAQs this day. Occasionally, you'll have additional posts that might be the odd holidays or if you have a sale going on. Again, schedule most posts in advance. And then something that I have, if you're willing to spend money on, is an evergreen social media scheduler. So I have SmarterQ, and it allows me to use evergreen posting. And what that means is I can schedule the post once and it will reuse that same post as many times as I tell it to without me having to go and reschedule the same post. So if I have an event coming up, I can say, here's the event information, keep posting about it until March 31st. Or if it's a service or product that I know will never go away, then I'll just say, use this indefinitely, and it will. And I can go in later and edit it or delete it if I want to. But that saves me a lot of staff time, so I'm not redoing the exact same things. It also allows me to schedule the same post to multiple platforms at the same time. That is one reason I'm actually active on so many platforms, is not because I'm going and checking those all every day, is that when I create a post, I just go, yep, send it to Facebook, yep, send it to Twitter, yep, send it to LinkedIn, yep, send it to Pinterest. It's just one extra button for me. That's why I can do that. And then thrifty version is automate pushing Facebook posts or your main platform, whatever it is, to other platforms. And when you get this PDF from the chamber later, click that orange IFTT. I've actually put in a link where I have created a tutorial for you. And you can watch. And I will show you how to automatically push your Facebook post to Twitter as an image or to Instagram or vice versa or whatever it is. So I'm automating that so I don't have to spend a lot of staff time on it. Okay, don't be overwhelmed. This is a screenshot of what my SmarterQ looks like. This is my posting plan with all of my scheduled posts in it, just to give you a visual example. So I've told it what to do. I've created my post. This is what it looks like. But don't worry, if you are not ready to spend money on it, I have other options for you. So you can schedule posts ahead of time in most social media platforms like Facebook and Pinterest. I think Twitter is getting there if they haven't already. You can log in and schedule your post in there. If you want to try out scheduling one post to multiple platforms at the same time, you can check out Hootsuite. I can schedule 30 posts across 3 accounts for free right now. So again, thrifty version, no worries. And then again, my paid evergreen one that I use is called SmarterQ. And then for Instagram, I use later.com. Instagram does not allow a lot of people to auto post to Instagram. So that's why I still use later. A lot of ones, you'll get like a notification on your phone and you'll still have to hit the buttons to go, yeah, copy and paste this and push. So that's why I like later and it's separate. And then again, I love scheduling ahead of time. That's where most of my time goes. So it's done. I don't have to think about it. But if you're excited about something, just go ahead and share a quick post. It's okay. And a lot of times, those quick posts will perform so much better than the things you spent like actual time on. It's so frustrating. But this is me giving you permission. If you're excited, just go ahead and share it. If you think it's interesting, go ahead and share it. Enable your staff, especially if they're on site or with a customer, enable them to do the same thing. If they think something is interesting or cool, or even just really wrong, for them to give advice to your customers. And then repurpose your content. Don't worry, I have a whole slide on this. And then also try consumer generated content. You need to ask for permission before you share your customers' photos, but that's what this is basically. And so you don't need to take all of the photos if you can get your customers to give you some. And another thing you can try is Instagram takeovers. It doesn't have to be Instagram, but basically this is when you give your account over to a trusted staff or customer or complementary business or organization, and they will post on your account as them, and you kind of leave it up to their creative flow. So sometimes I've seen them follow you around where they're like, oh, this is so interesting because they've got a different perspective. And then sometimes they're just posting about themselves all day. But because your audiences are crossing over, you're both going to get new followers because of it. The only thing is you probably want to tell people in advance because your followers are going to be like, what is this? This isn't what I signed up for. So give them some sort of warning.
Hey, Izzy,
Yes.
We have a question going back to the scheduled posts. Do you find scheduled posts have the same level of interaction as quick posts? In the past, I've scheduled posts that have less views and interactions than the ones made in real time.
I think they're the same, and I think the thing goes back to is the actual content. So if I was scheduling the exact same post, they should perform about the same. But a lot of times when you're scheduling a one-off post or just in the moment, it naturally has a different feel. And the posts that I just kind of out in like 30 seconds for whatever reason, like those are the ones that tend to do really well, um, just because it's more natural. Again, these are real people seeing our posts, and that's where I think that difference comes from.
Okay, and then we had one other one come in real quick. Do you think it is popular to use Pinterest as a way to reach out to potential customers in your local community?
Yes and no. So Pinterest is a little different than other social media platforms. Pinterest is a visual search engine. So yes, it is still great to reach your customers, but a lot of times I'm using that to get leads and drive traffic to my website. And it's a little bit harder, I think, locally to make sure you're getting that local traffic without running ads. So a lot of times I would make sure if that's important to you, you're customizing your pins to show like your city or your area name so that the traffic coming from it is more naturally more relevant. This is sort of an example of consumer generated content. At my chamber, one of my members left a comment on a photo that was in a photo album about my event. And so I messaged her and I was like, hey, this is really great. Can I reuse it? She said, sure. So then I took her quote, I took a picture I had of her and I put it into Canva and made the picture on the right. And now that is a client testimonial. So that is a really easy way that took me maybe 15 minutes to do, and I reuse it all the time now. All right, this is all about repurposing. All right, reduce, reuse, recycle, and that includes social media. So reshare and repost old good content. You know, you don't want to share the crap ones, but the ones that did well, you should kind of have a feel for what is performing well on social media. You can actually just reshare your post if you want to, or you can save the photos, or when you're uploading a new photo, you can go back and see what you've said about a similar post in the past and copy and paste it. It's okay to mix and match some of those things. And then put good, useful posts in your email newsletter. If something really resonated well with your audience, like if you did a video with your answering a question, put that in your next email. Say, hey, we answered XYZ, click here to learn more. And so that is one of the ways that you're going to get more Facebook traffic and boost that post naturally without any money that's already doing well. And because you're using good quality content, you're also benefiting your customers. Another idea when you're looking for content is to look to your own website. So maybe you've already typed out those FAQs. Well, then you can read them off, or you can make an image like I have to the one on the right. That is from a blog post where I put the title and I just bullet pointed out some of those main points, and I created an image in Canva. Again, that was probably with the free version of Canva, so you'll hear me talk about it a lot because I love it. Any list, this is just additional content. It's stuff that you've already spent brain power or money on. So just kind of reworking it visually so you have additional social media content. And then if you've done Facebook Live, you can actually download your Facebook Live video and then upload it to YouTube. You can also do the reverse and take your YouTube video and add it to Facebook or whatever else. However, I recommend cutting out clips from your YouTube video. So if you talked about 5 things, I would make it into 5 shorter videos for Facebook or other social media. And that's what I mean by trim your YouTube videos. You can also turn audio like into video posts. So I do this with our radio ads is I take our radio ad and I add a photo slideshow on top, like nothing fancy. It's just like a little slideshow and I upload that as a video. You can also do the reverse and take your video, take out the audio and turn it into a podcast. And then if you've recorded a video like this one, You could get the transcripts written out or just have somebody listen to it and type out your notes and turn that into a blog post or an article. This is an example. I've linked to her because she actually walks you through how to do this, but she's actually taking a rectangular video on YouTube and then she basically put it over a square image and so that it performed better on Instagram. So I know it's hard to see because her background was also white, but it is a square image. And these are some of my Facebook specific tips. I really like Facebook photo albums. They just perform really well for me. I don't know about Sandusky, but our ribbon cutting photo albums is like consistently the best performing Facebook post. That lets you group a set of really specific photos that are relevant together. It doesn't have to be an event, but it could be. And it also gives you somewhere to link better to it. So again, I link to those Facebook photo albums in my next newsletter. Something that I've seen some businesses do really well is they create a 30-second video that goes on their cover photo. That's the image at the top of your Facebook page. Generally, I think most people that are visiting your Facebook page are new to your business. So this is a great place to be a little bit more adsy and to introduce yourself to a potential customer. Facebook groups are also really popular right now. However, a lot of people are abusing them. So the general tip for Facebook groups is to go into a group with the mindset of being helpful. You don't just make a post that says, hey, I have a business, call me if you need XYZ. Instead, what you want to do is look at the existing post and comment and be helpful. So sometimes they'll be bluntly asking for your type of service, and then you can comment yes and be like, hey, I can do this for you. Call my number. I run this business. But other times you can just be like, hey, I think this would help, or hey, try this place, or hey, here's this. Because people remember how you make them feel. So when they are in the market for your business, they're going to be much more apt to actually listen to you. And then we already talked about always using the new feature. And then Facebook Messenger, I feel like is also pretty cool, but not a lot of small businesses take the time to learn it. So your biggest, easiest thing is to just reply as soon as possible. Facebook is paying attention to that very heavily. Another thing that you can do directly in Facebook is set up automated responses for your frequently asked questions. So this is going to save you a lot of staff time, but also allow you to serve your current customers in real time while you're busy doing something else. You can also enable a button to book appointments through your Facebook page. So if that is something you're willing to set up and allow them to do, that is a really cool tool because one, not only are they booking appointments, but you can send them reminders and follow-up messages in Facebook Messenger. And I don't know about you, but I check my Facebook Messenger a lot more than I check my emails. And then if you're open to having staff check Facebook Messenger for your business, just making sure you enable that get messages. You can do that on Facebook posts or even in events if you set those up. And if you spend money on paid Facebook ads, there's actually an option for Facebook custom audiences to select people who send a message to your page. So again, this is how you, or I guess not again, this is one way you can retarget a warm audience because they already know about your business. You've already gotten through the first hurdle. So retargeting these specific people is probably going to have a much higher click-through rate or conversion rate for you. And if you decide Facebook Messenger is awesome because it is, some third-party tools that I recommend are MobileMonkey or ManyChat, which is how you can set up some funnels or just other automated things for your Facebook Messenger. And here's some more creative tools for you. Again, I mentioned Canva a bunch of times. I do have the pro account now that I just pay for personally, but I used it for like a year or two on the free plan. Like it's super easy and affordable. And then even then, if you just really love a graphic, sometimes it's like $1. So definitely check it out if you're not using something. Stock photos, again, you'll get this PDF. Those are two sites that I use for free stock photos. But again, take a real photo when you can, or take a cell phone photo. It's fine. Video editing apps literally on your phone. Just go to the App Store and type in video editing and download the first free one. There's so many things you can do on your phone, and it's a little bit of a learning curve because it's new to you. Learning anything is going to take you a second. It's okay to be frustrated. Just don't get overwhelmed. Do little things, little projects. Don't try to make, an amazing movie. People like things that are real and low budget. And then again, a link to Mobile Monkey or ManyChat. This is just because it's me. I have Google Chrome, which is my browser, if you know what that is. And these are some of the extensions that I use. These are things you install for me for free on my browser. And one is a Facebook feed blocker. So when I log into Facebook at work, I don't see everybody's posts and get distracted. Because when I'm not distracted, then I go straight to my page or the group or the thing I'm supposed to be working on. And then I can also block certain websites based on a time limit. So yes, I can still go to Facebook because it's part of my job. But if I spend more than an hour collectively on what I know are my time wasters or my distractions, it'll say, hey, you're not allowed here anymore. And so that's something I do to me. I'm allowed to do whatever I want on my computer. My company doesn't block anything. So these are things I've set upon myself that help me stay focused and less distracted. Because a lot of times, even you just randomly type in that one site, whatever it is, and you know you don't need to, but it's almost like a reflex. So then it gives me that little warning, and I go, oh yeah, and like I'll close out right away. Another one is Tab Suspender. It just makes your other tabs, because I'm a terrible person and I have 100 tabs open at all times, it makes the other ones kind of pause. So it takes up less computer power basically, because then I'm only focusing on a few of them at one time. You can also search for a browser extension for a color font snatcher, again, graphic design. I can go to my website and it'll give me the hex code for the colors on my website or tell me what kinds of fonts I use. So as somebody that also works on social media for other businesses, I can go to their site and copy their exact branding when I'm creating stuff in Canva. Another one is called Loom. It just lets me create a quick video with a link. For the most part, I use this if I have to call a national tech support. I don't know what y'all, we use Constant Contact for emails. And if I can explain something to them over the phone, I can use Loom to create a quick video and I say, hey, here's my problem. And then I can send them that link. And that way they can see what I'm seeing. Honey, maybe you've heard about, this is something that saves you money and coupons. Yes, I even use that at work because it's part of my browser extension. Whenever I'm checking out, it will naturally just pop up if there's a coupon. So I know it was forever ago, but the last time I rented a car for work, we saved like 20 bucks because it was like, hey, do you want to save money? And I was like, yes, I'll save money. I don't care whose money it is, I will save all of the money. And then if you're into YouTube, TubeBuddy is a great tool. And then picture in picture, kind of like how my Zoom photo webcam is probably a little small for you. If you like to watch YouTube or other stuff while you're working, you can click it and it'll make your video that you're watching go in like to a tiny corner so that you can focus your big screen on whatever you're actually working on. So those are just random things that I like. Okay, so I know I talked about a lot of things. So if you've zoned off, this is the time to come back. This is my big 3 takeaway. So the first thing is to be consistent. Your best practice is at least weekly, hopefully once a day. Yes, you can post more than once a day. Quality is better than quantity. And no, I don't mean this has to be a 4K video. This is what I'm talking about, focusing on your customer, building that relationship, that kind of quality. And then having objectives. Why are you taking the time to make a social media post? Why are you spending time on Facebook? There's probably a reason for it. So again, it goes back to your customer, serving your customer. And when you have that why in mind, things make so much more sense and they're so much easier because then you're not as stressed out about it because you know why it's important. So those are our big takeaways. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we have one in the chat. What are your thoughts on using TikTok for marketing?
Okay. Um, TikTok is interesting, and I know a lot of people don't spend time on it right now because we mostly see a younger audience on it, which is fine. I think TikTok is going to be good if you're willing to spend time on creating really good videos. So we've probably all seen, sorry, my allergies are bothering me. We've seen the doctor or the chiropractor that does those little music videos. Those are really cool. You don't have to do that. There's a lot where it's like a rectangle and they've picked a random nice soundtrack and you just kind of see her like kind of dance and she like points up here and then he points over here and then we point over here. And what they've done is like they'll put a little bit of text that is informational. So just like this post where I had a few little bullet points, you would make smaller points. And you could say, okay, I don't even know. All right, so I'll just read this off. So content ideas might be like the name of my video. And then when I point over here, you can make a little text that says, see what your competitors do. And then I point over here and there'd be text that says, use online keyword tools. So that is another way you could create a video. And again, that's just going to be if you're willing to spend time on creating stuff like that.
Okay. I had a question for myself. You mentioned a color and font snatcher. What application do you use to do that?
One's called Snatcher without the E in it. But if you go to for me, it's like Google Chrome extension store or something like that, and just type in like color snatcher, it'll come up.
Okay. And then does anyone else have any questions? You can either unmute yourself or throw them in the chat.
I know there's a couple people on here who are from 501c3 nonprofits. Canva is free for 501c3s. So make sure if Canva is something you want to use, go on, and it's a simple application. Once you get approved for it, you get Canva Pro for free.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Izzy.
No
That
problem.
was great. If you guys have any questions for her, you can just send me an email. I'm going to be emailing out a copy of the recording from today's Mastering Monday, as well as a PDF of her PowerPoint slides. And then while I have everyone here, if you would like to register for our next Mastering Monday, it's covering customer relationship management. This session explores the ins and outs of the customer relationship management and various technologies to help the process. So that'll be on April 5th, again at noon, and you can register on our website, schamber.org.
There's one more question in the chat box.
Okay.
Jennifer asked about a limit on job postings, and I'm just honestly not sure. I haven't seen that, but I haven't had a lot of people post jobs, which is a good thing to do. Please post jobs. It's actually very handy for you. But we are actually in such high demand for what I'll call quality jobs that a lot of times people don't even bother posting them online. So sorry, I don't know.
All right. Well, thanks again, Izzy. That was great. And I hope everyone has a good day.
Thanks, everyone.